Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, dude, you have to listen to this. Funniest podcast opening I've ever listened to. Here, listen to this.
My friend Dan, he's got a podcast, cause all comics need a podcast, and nobody had a podcast called The Art of Bombing. So Dan went out and bought a tape deck. Who knows why he bought a tape deck? Podcasts don't get played on tape decks, but Dan is from the 80s. So hey there, all you funny jerks, come talk to Dan about your work. Tell him all about your worst times. It's The Art of Bombing.
All right.
That's awesome.
Have you ever wondered what goes through a comedian's minds when they tell a joke that doesn't work?
No, I've experienced that.
You've experienced it directly?
Yeah, I actually tried stand-up once, so I know what it feels like to bomb a joke.
Whether you're an inspiring comedian or a hardcore comedy nerd, which that must have been you, Mike, the Art of Bombing podcast has something for everyone. From useful comedy insights to entertaining stories of bombing and failure told by the comedians that live through them, like Louis Anderson, Andy Erickson, Chad Daniels, Dusty Slay, and more. Join comedian Dan Bublitz Jr. as he sits down with comedians to discuss what can be learned from these ugly shows on the road. New episodes are available every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, visit them on the web at www.artofbombingpod.com. Again, that's www.artofbombingpod.com.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you heard of the highbrow drivel?
No, but it sounds smarty pants to me.
Highbrow Drivel delivers hilarious takes from serious experts. Every week, comedian Anthony Janot introduces one of his comedian friends to an academic, scientist, politician, or expert of some kind.
Oh yeah? What do they do?
Over the course of roughly an hour, the group will offer thought-provoking topics, expert guests, and hilarious commentation.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Host Anthony Janot is critically acclaimed stand-up comedian who has sold out shows in Australia, England, Scotland, Sweden, and more. But we're talking specifically about his podcast now called The Highbrow Drivel. Topics range from ethics and artificial intelligence to astronomy and dinosaurs.
Really? Oh, I love dinosaurs. Do they talk about owls?
Every week, it's a new comedian, a new expert, but the same highbrow drivel. Highbrow Drivel is available on all major podcast players and at www.highbrowdrivel.com. Again, that's www.highbrowdrivel.com.
Yeah, that sounds like smart nonsense. Can't wait to listen.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. I'm your host. We got Mike Renee here and David Brown. Welcome to our Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. This is the time that TechTime Radio takes over the Seattle airways, and everybody is turning into their stations when they're outside working on a beautiful day like it is today.
You got a lot of energy
so
today.
I do. I have a lot of energy. So
what? Is that where mine went?
I was going to say, yeah, you looked a little tired.
It's been a long week.
Been a long week?
Yeah.
Been busy stuff?
Busy stuff, yeah.
Busy stuff. Now, you were at a motorcycle event. You're getting a motorcycle license, right?
Yeah, I went to a motorcycle training course.
And how'd that
Monday
go?
and Tuesday. That was fun.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, like go around cones, or did you actually like jump off? You do like
we
a Fonzie jump the shark thing?
We jumped the shark.
Oh,
yeah.
you did? Fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to see videos of that. All right.
Well, I can tell you anything. Huh.
That's right. Okay. All right. We're live streaming on Facebook. So if you go to facebook.com/TechTime Radio, if you go to Twitch TV/TechTime Radio, or the best place to find out all the information, go to www.techtimeradio.com. Look at our brand new website, and you'll see our video right there on the main screen. Click on the play button, and boom, you can watch us directly on YouTube. So if you want to engage with us on twitch.tv, we follow the stream, so we'll ask questions with there. In today's audience, we are asking to call in and to be a part of our show, as we have a little bit more time today. So we specifically scheduled that for people to call on in. So 425-373-5527, or again, you can go, what's the other? I have the other 88 number. Just call in that number. Oh, no, here it is. 1-888-298-KKNW. So that's 1-888-298-5569.
Right in front of you.
Oh, well, that
on Fox work for you.
I don't know. That's a Hooked on Fox. Maybe that's it. I just need to see stuff. All right. So if you're watching us on any other time other than Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m., you are watching a rebroadcast of our show, or you're watching edited segments on our website. So please go to our website at all times to get all the latest information and up-to-date items. So, 2-hour technology show for the everyday common person. We try to keep it down at the lower level.
We try to keep it at the mic level.
That's right. We don't try to geek it out. That's exactly right. And Mike keeps us on board to make sure we got that taken care of. Now, our first thing that we always do is we always start out. I actually did ask what your week was like, but we weren't supposed to do that because I was supposed to say I don't care, but I actually do care. And then we do with our loaded question. Our loaded question of the day, Mike, is what is the greatest symbol of wealth?
The greatest symbol of wealth. You know, a Bugatti
pool table
on a mega yacht.
On a mega yacht, self-leveling?
Yeah, you know what I think the biggest symbol of wealth is?
What's that?
Shutting up about it.
Oh, that's true. Normally, if you notice the billionaire people, I work with high net worth individuals as a part of Elite Executive Services that sponsors the radio show. And if you have a lot of money, you normally don't go around bragging about it. So what I always find funny is these millionaires, right? They brag about their money forever because they're not billionaires.
Right.
And they're not at the 100-level millionaire level. So they are just all brag, brag, brag. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this. And when you actually have the money, then you're just very calm and quiet. And you just
unless you're
on.
Jeff and you've got a mega yacht that needs a support yacht.
That's what you need to support. Well, just wait for today's show on the second hour. Our What You Didn't Know. We're going to be picking on Mark Zuckerberg, our Facebook buddy. So we're going to have a lot more great information on that. All right. Well, let's talk about the first hour of the show. We have our top stories in the first 5 minutes. We have Protect Yourself Today back.
Ooh.
Mike's favorite segment.
That's the where I drink all
That's
the
your
time.
drinking segment. That's right. Right. And we're going to have a feature on malware about Apple is now openly talking about all the malware in the Mac environment. So we're going to be talking about that because everybody that has a Mac says, I don't ever have to worry about malware.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking there's more malware now out there that is running in the Mac environment, and Mac has to patch their own machines themselves. They have their own OS. So they have a huge infrastructure spending time on that. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a way to protect your PC for free from malware, so you don't have to spend $10,000 in Bitcoin to do a hacker.
Is now a good time to tell you I finally got rid of Avast.
Did you finally get rid of Avast? Well, I'm so happy to hear that.
Are you happy about that?
I am that, because now your machine's probably going to work correctly. I don't have to get an email from you.
I won't get blue screens all the time?
Have you had a blue screen since you removed it?
Well, it's only been a few days. So
okay, but 2 days is 0. Yeah, so you haven't had a blue screen, have you?
I haven't had a blue screen. That could be.
Okay, all right. We also have the Mesmerizing moment brought to us by StoriCoffee, our NFT and our whiskey tasting. Our hour is packed with a bunch of cyber information. On the second hour, we have our letter segment where we talk about the email scams and funny phishing attempts. A bunch of great ones this week,
Got some good ones?
Yeah, we do. We also have a feature interview with the founder of an AI company called Active Loop. We got David Boniatine. Boniatine. Yeah, so
you got it?
So I hope I'm getting it right.
Okay.
David was first featured on TechCrunch at the age of 18 after completing his computer science degree at UCL, and he essentially started attending his PhD at Princeton University at 20. So this dude is a genius. He's going to be talking about his company that he owns, which is called Active Loop, and it does a whole bunch in AI and ML aspects. So AI is artificial intelligence and ML
machine learning.
That's correct, machine learning. So he's going to be talking specifically about that. And I got some trick questions. I'm going to throw him a curveball, see if Mr. Smart can get a curveball and either hit it or take it out of the park. Yeah, like poor David just got done doing.
What's your favorite friend on Friends?
What's your favorite Friends on Friends? You know, Friends has come back with a reunion on HBO.
Yes,
coming
I
on
know.
Up here.
I thought it's on the 27th.
I got that date. Not that I have it marked on my calendar, but I was a big Friends
You
fan,
have it
so
on.
I do have it
on
marked.
your
All right. Stories you don't know with Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm sure the hour and the next hour are going to be fantastic and fun, and something I guarantee is going to make you go, Again, you can always decide to hit us up on Twitch TV at TechTime Radio for a live update through the streaming of the show itself. You can also go to Twitter and go hashtag TechTime Radio and put a quote up there, and we'll read that. We monitor that during the show. And also call 425-373-5527, 1-888-298-5569 if you have a question regarding computers, viruses, malware, any of those items, those are going to be great to get taken care of. All right, now let's move on to our first segment of the day.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, story number 1. Think you're safe because you have a Mac? Not anymore. Apple's head of software engineering, Craig Federia, says malware on Macs has hit an unacceptable level. We got some audio here.
Heads up, if you own a Mac computer, malware targeting thousands of Macs, including the new ones. Here's how you'll know you've been hacked. Security firm Brent Canary says you'll get a blank screen with a message. Sometimes it says, quote, "Hello, world." Scary part, officials don't know why this is happening. At least it's polite, I guess.
That's right.
Isn't that what happens when you get your first blog?
You get your first blog, it just says hello.
Your first blog say hello world.
Hello world. Yeah. So this is huge right now. So do you ever remember those PC and the Mac commercials?
Oh yeah.
Remember
with Justin?
So you had Justin Long, who was the Mac actor, right? And he said it always started out, "Hi, I'm a Mac," and then the other guy would always say, I'm a PC. That's right. And they would talk about viruses and crashes and blue screens, and Mac would make fun of the other guy that was supposedly the Windows PC. Well, guess what?
I guess we need to bring back that commercial with a little spin.
With a little spin. Well, there's a huge spin right now. So if you have a Macintosh computer, there's probably a chance greater than 50% you have active malware on your Mac machine right now today.
Wow.
So
good thing I don't have one.
So yes, Apple has noted that the sales of Mac computers are at an all-time high this last year. And then the head of software engineering, Craig, said attacks have risen as well. Today, we have a level of malware on the Mac that we don't find acceptable, he said Wednesday during testimony defending Apple in the lawsuit with Fortnite. We talked about this.
Yep.
Maker Epic Games in a California court. So essentially, Epic Games is trying to make Apple to say, hey, you know what, maybe you have a lot of flaws in both your iStore and a bunch of other stuff. So they put the guy on the stand and he says, guess what? Yes, we had, and he was the one that said off record, where probably 1 out of every 2 Mac machines are infected with malware. Now, each week, Apple identifies a couple pieces of malware on its own or with the help of third parties, and essentially they have built-in systems to automatically remove that malware from the customer's computers, which were brought out.
Really?
So they have direct access into your Mac computer that you may not be aware of, that they are able to go in through the operating system themselves and remove the malware from your PC. So Windows doesn't do that, and Windows makes sure that you do that. Mac just decides to go in and remove it for you. But still, the malware can affect hundreds of thousands of computers before Apple stamps it out. Since last May, it was said that there would be 130 types of Mac malware software, and one of them alone infected over 300,000 systems within a 4-week period.
Wow, that's a busy time for that backdoor guy.
So, yes. So they believe that Macs are still more secure than PCs, but have made it clear that Mac is facing a significant larger malware problem that people are unaware of.
Right.
But specifically under oath, this does not affect iPhones, iPads, or Apple's others devices. And Apple has come on out saying that they do not believe any data of any users have been compromised.
Wow.
That is the standard
isn't that
corporate.
Nice? Isn't that nice of them to walk that standard line?
If I hear that one more time, I just laugh. All right, story number 2. The 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning electric pickup looks brawny, battery-powered.
The Lightning.
It's called Lightning. But listen to this, though. It's available for $40,000 before incentives.
I know. The government gives a lot of incentives.
So wait till we get down to the price when it's all said and done. So this electric vehicle, it's called the EV model, which stands for electric vehicle. Looks like a huge deal, and it's not just the price. The truck starts at $39,974 at the lowest base model, so it's right under that $40,000, not including still unknown destination charges. So the actual delivery to your house type of deal could be an additional charge if you don't want to pick it up from a dealer. The gas model entry at the same level, though, is coming on out at over $65,000.
Yeah.
So to get the gas model, $65,000. To get the electric models, $39,000. Now the Lightning comes with all the trimmings of the standard F-150.
Sure it does.
Except for the grill doesn't have any spaces in it to allow airflow because it's battery operated, so you don't need it. So that's how you tell the difference between the models itself. It comes with a 15.5-inch touchscreen running the Ford Sync 4A informational system that is set up as the same as the Mustang Mach-E, the SUVs, and flavor. Thanks, David. Flavors of different aspects. Beyond the tech goodies, though, let's take a look at what the price comes out to be. So the battery packs, you can choose one or two different battery packs. You can either get the 230-mile battery pack or the 300-mile battery pack, which is nothing compared to Tesla, right? Tesla just is.
Well,
just
no,
got
Tesla starts with 330, I think.
Yes, they do. And so they're just absolutely taking care of it. But with incentives, most states give you anywhere between a $3,000 to $5,000 incentive for an electric vehicle, a state. The federal tax credit is $7,500.
Yep.
So essentially, this car is going to come out at a starting price point of $27,000.
Yeah. Just don't haul anything around with it.
Well, I don't know about that. Last story. So thank you for, I had a fan write me a beautiful letter this week, so we appreciate all of our TechTime Radio fans. We talked about this.
Well, is this about the
Amazon guy?
How he's not going to watch?
Yeah, so I had a guy. I'm really sorry we have a user or a listener. I use it as a computer guy. A listener that's not going to listen to us anymore because we bag on Amazon all the time. So we specifically have a story that's great here. Amazon will block police indefinitely from using its facial recognition software. So this is a positive thing.
This is a positive
We don't
thing.
always do negative. We actually just do what is trendy.
We just try to do what's going on.
Correct. And sometimes it's negative, and negative
Most
news
of the time
normally,
it's negative.
normally bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads, right? So, but we try to. Is that the?
That is a thing. Yes.
So here we got. Nearly a year ago, Amazon said it would stop providing its facial recognition software called Rekognition, Rekognition.
Not hooked on phonics wouldn't work for that.
That one they wouldn't know. So to police for a year. Now it appears that they were going to be banning it from all time. Amazon said that it's extending its ban on its technology until further notice. The decision was first reported by Reuters. Unknown number of police departments used to use the facial recognition system to track down potential suspects, even through the technology, have shown to be less accurate when identifying people of color. In June 2020, Amazon halted the sales of this recognition software to police departments and says that they have completely removed it from all areas to monitor individuals for any mass surveillance profiling. They are following the same initiative that IBM has also done, saying that their facial recognition services are also not to be used by local police departments.
Good for them.
So that's kind of because
we've talked about this on many occasions.
Misidentifying specifically the AI and the biases that are there. Well, that is our time. We went a little bit over, so we are going to need to head out to a commercial break. But Mike, when we come on back, don't you worry, because we're leading off from our top 5 stories right into our Protect Yourself Today segment that will be all about ransomware and companies that are having issues with that. We're going to be talking about later in the show during our Technology Insider, a company that spent over $40 million in ransomware in just a few months. So they were kind of under the radar. Nobody knew about them. Now it's hitting the press. We're going to be talking specifically about this insurance company and what happened. And of course, we're going to enjoy some whiskey. So we'll see you after the break.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yeah.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Have you heard about 180 Consulting?
No.
I love these guys. You know how much I avoid working with copy vendors, right?
Actually, I get to hear about it all the time.
Not anymore, because guess what? The guys at 180 Consulting took over the entire process. They assessed our needs, worked directly with the vendors on my behalf, and helped us understand our option. No sales fluff, just good information so we can make the right decision.
Well, that sounds good. How do they get paid?
Their only compensation comes from a small share of the cost savings they create. They work for us, and it's a win-win.
You know, that sounds like a no-brainer.
There's two ways to reach them. You can get them at info@180-consulting.com or visit them online at www.180-consulting.com.
www.180-consulting.com.
Thank you, Mike. 180-consulting.com.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Pager, host of An Informed Life Radio. In an age when the term misinformation is used to silence criticism and debate about COVID-19, vaccines, and more, we're bringing you doctors, lawyers, and scientists to discuss the missing information about your health and medical freedom. An Informed Life Radio airs right here on KKNW every Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. We're starting a real health revolution, one conversation at a time. Join us.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday there. Wow. Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 90 proof. This is like a hot item right now. It's on all the deals for what's that?
I don't know why.
You don't know why it is. 90 proof, $45 per bottle. Buffalo Trace Kentucky is distilled, aged, and bottled at the most award-winning distillery in the world. Made from the finest corn, rye, and barley malt, this whiskey ages in its new oak barrels for years in century-old warehouses until the peak of maturity. The taste is rich and complex with hints of vanilla, toffee, and canned fruit. The smooth finish...
Canned fruit. Okay. Is that what that says? Canned fruit?
It does. The smooth finish lingers on the palate. I don't know what smooth finish either.
This is a whole different. This is a whole different thing. This is straight up get drunk whiskey. This isn't sipping whiskey.
This is not sipping whiskey. This is This is whew. Okay, that's, you know what? Sometimes we get great whiskey. Sometimes we get okay whiskey, and sometimes
we get Kentucky's best.
That's right. Remember that Kentucky's best? Okay, let me just tell you, this is not as bad as Kentucky's best.
This is not as bad as Kentucky's best.
No, Kentucky's best was the worst I think I've ever had in my mouth.
That was horrible stuff.
And, all right. Okay, well, now that we got the drinks out of the way, and we haven't said if we're going to give thumbs up or thumbs down, so make sure you come at the very end of the show when we do our pick of the day, because you never know, our changes. We could say thumbs up, we could say thumbs down. I know I'm trending a little down right now, but we'll see what happens. All right, we're going to move into our next segment. This is your favorite segment we used to have.
My favorite segment.
All right? You used to call us the drinking segment.
This is the drinking segment.
So I guess you can do some drinks during this.
This is all the things you question about why we have technology right here.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. That should be perfect. All right, we're going to move right on to our next segment right now.
Protect yourself today.
All right, story number one. Attackers allegedly target Russian federal networks. The Russian Federal Executive Authorities hit by cyber attacks. So
now we're talking about the Russians getting attacked?
Yes. So you know what? So let me just tell you, the Colonial Pipeline, we're going to talk about it at story number two. Because when that first came out, it was the Russians were attacking, and this we're going to attack, and this. So it's very interesting. I'm being much more conservative when I ask something. And I do not want to come out with a story immediately, because if I do, then I essentially want to be very careful not to say that it's a nation attack. But essentially, Russia was attacked here. The Federation was hit by a cyber attack. The report was compiled by Russia's National Coordination Center for Computer Incidents. The agency responded with the Russian government saying that it had deployed two previously unknown malware variants to the Russian cloud hosting service for the campaign. The hackers then sought to steal confidential information, including documents and email correspondence of key federal executive authorities, the note reported. The report has identified the threat group, but note said that it was a state-sponsored event because the level of attackers were too complicated. The speed and the quality of the work that was done, there's no way it could have been an individual cybercrime, and it had to be a planned attack.
It had to be a planned attack.
So what that means is when somebody says it's a planned attack against them, well, normally that's called
What do you think it is?
Kind of like a hit and run on what you do on a personal type of deal, but essentially what it's doing is it's coming on in and taking things that are specifically there. That's going.
David wants to talk.
What's up, David?
Yeah, I do want to talk. Hey, we do have a caller on the line. We have Greg on the line.
Oh, we do have a caller? Okay, so you know what? Let me finish the story, and we'll go right to Greg, and we'll have him ask his question.
All right,
How's
Greg, I know you're here, so stand by.
All right, fantastic. Good. I'm glad we have some callers coming in. All right, attack vectors were known. In 2020, they had 3 attacks that spread the malware virus itself, which included aspects of the virus in the Russian specific, looking for notes, reports, and information regarding their COVID-19 processes. So the attackers were trying to find out what the Russians knew about COVID-19.
Joy.
So maybe it was
Okay.
China. Maybe it was China too.
You think it was China?
Well, China hasn't had any COVID-19 attacks at all, right? They're at 0, right? So they have never been affected with this.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they maybe were just checking out on that, exploiting webs.
They're just checking.
And the compromise of the infrastructure was so sophisticated that it has gone in and taken care of mail servers, electronic documents, and other areas. Now, the Russian spying said that they believe it was a Western-based government, right down to the exploitation because of the way that it specifically was attacked in certain vectors. So it's kind of like a Cold War.
Yeah,
they're blaming
They're just pointing fingers at us.
So they're blaming us, the United States,
or
somebody else. Maybe Canada. Is Canada really aggressive with their cyber?
I don't know.
I don't think Canada does anything aggressive.
Don't they apologize for everything they do?
Do you ever see Strange Brew?
I do.
That's the only thing I think of when I think of Canadians. That's never mind. All right, so we have a caller.
That's certainly being a Americanist.
Americanist with the Strange Brew. That's like one of my best. All right, we have a caller, so we're gonna put story number 2 on hold. And thank you very much for calling in.
Okay, Craig, you're on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome to TechTime Radio. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here.
Well, thank you, Nathan and Mike. Thank you for taking my call. I was listening to your program. Now, if I suspect that I've been infected, if my PC has been infected with malware, what should I look for first, and how would I ever know?
That's a good question. Yeah. How do you know if your PC is affected with malware? So if you're a Mac environment, so I guess we can talk both. We can do both Mac and PC.
Well, you have to because
they're both different, right? Mm-hmm. So the Mac
environment. I'm Windows 10.
So you're Windows 10. Okay. So specifically, normally the first thing, and we're going to be talking about this on our next segment also, which is a perfect question to ask into, and it can lead into some of the aspects we're going to be talking about. In Windows 10 PC, there's a difference between viruses and malware. So a virus is something that comes into your PC and tries to destruct and try to cause havoc to your PC, but essentially get no money from it, not take any information out of it. It just destroys it. Malware is different, and malware specifically comes on in to try to either A, steal information, or get information about how you're tracking so that they can then continuously send you additional items to expose your machine and have the ability to encrypt it and cause greater damage, having you pay out a huge ransom to that area. But the first thing you should always look for if your computer's been infected with malware is your browser, because most of the time your browser will change. So if all of a sudden you're going to your home page, and let's say your home page is CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or any of those news areas that you would have as your standard homepage, and all of a sudden it changes to another new page, and all of a sudden your search algorithm looks like it's a little bit off, that is normally the sign number 1 in the most obvious area that you've been infected with malware. So what they do is they essentially change your homepage browsing to essentially their information where they can actually log that homepage. It could be very close to the homepage you're looking for. Some of them have their own search versions. Some of them have an imitation of like a Yahoo page or a Bing search or a Google that'll be a little bit different. Not quite the same page because you can't open it on Bing or Google. But if you would go and take a look at your homepage at the very top, instead of it being a standard address, it's going to have a lot of information up there when you open your page itself. And so what they're trying to do at that time for your machine being affected in malware, they're trying to take a look at key logging aspects, where you're going to on your website, maybe some passwords that you type in on that website, URL that you have available as your first area that you have. The second is that normally the speed of your machine and your fans will all of a sudden get very aggressively hot or very aggressively high resource count because they're tracking a bunch of information for that. So the easiest way on a Windows PC is if you hit the Control-Alt-Delete, which used to be the way you restart your computer, and it brings up that Task Manager. So if you just hold Control-Alt-Delete down and open up Task Manager, you can see there's a graphic there normally of your video, of your hard drive usage, and of your CPU usage. And what will happen is your CPU usage will skyrocket to normally 90% and above. Ideally, your computer should be idling at about 50 to 60% on your CPU
even if
usage.
I have like 18 million tabs.
Unless you're a bad Internet Chrome user and you open up like 30 different windows of Chrome.
That's my problem.
Is that your problem, Mike?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden your CPU will increase. But specifically for a malware attack is you're going to have your browser normally gets hijacked, and then your computer itself will slow down the speeds of it, and you'll take a look at it. When you do a reboot, normally what will happen if you look at it real carefully when you reboot your machine, you'll normally see like a DOS prompt that will come on up during the boot up process, and it'll flash real
very quick, and then it disappears.
And then it just disappears.
Uh-huh.
Do you have that on your machine?
I have one on my old machine. And I could never read it and see what it was doing.
So that is sign 3 that you have malware on your machine.
All right.
So what will happen is that DOS prompt will come on out. It'll execute certain commands. It'll close that window down immediately, and it's logging normally information to another location with that DOS command. It's sending a net use command or a net aspect command of information. Now, sometimes there are some applications, if you had an older application that may have a DOS prompt that will optimize and could do that, but it's normally the third sign that you have a malware specifically on your machine itself.
All right.
So thank you very much, Greg. Did that answer your call?
Yeah, it sure does. I'm looking at my CPU count now, and I think I'm good. Thanks so much for the information. I love your show.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Well, that was great. And we'll have to talk about that a little bit more on our next segment, too, because we're going to be talking about malware specifically with the Mac. So
yeah.
He kind of stole some of my thunder for the next show, but that's the next episode.
Oh, darn.
That's okay. All right. So number 2. Okay. So we'll be okay. All right. Again, if you have a question, please call us 425-373-5527. If you got a question about viruses, malware, that is what we're talking about on both of the hours on today's show with a pretty heavy emphasis with that. So
we need more liquor.
Are we going to need more liquor to get through this?
Did you bring some better liquor?
I have last week's liquor still in there.
Let's bring some of that out.
We're going to do that for the second hour? No, hang on. This is great liquor here. We may like Buffalo's Trace Kentucky.
Only after I'm drunk.
Okay, here we go. Story number 2. Colonial Pipeline CEO to testify at the congressional hearing. The House committee to probe ransomware attack that led to the pipeline shutdown. So we talked about it. This was happening last week on the show.
Right.
And I was going to talk about this, and we didn't talk into it, and I'm glad I didn't, because the information that was first released about this was completely wrong. And so what I would have been saying is it would have been a nation attack. It would have been this. A certain group that was supposedly attached to it, which was not attached to it at all, ended up happening. So, again, you got to be careful when you get your information.
This is the one that the story has changed so many times.
It has. We talked about this in our production meeting. So this story has at least changed 4 times from the initial release to where it is right now. Now we have a pretty good indication to be able to talk about what it is. So essentially the House committee is going to probe the ransomware attack because the CEO, Joseph Blunt, has essentially paid $4.4 million to the ransomware attackers. So he paid the money.
I'm in the wrong business.
So in an announcement, Republican Benny Thompson and Democratic House Homeland Security Chairman John Cato essentially want to have a conversation to understand why the Colonial Pipeline decided to pay the ransomware, because Congress does not think that they should have paid the ransom. So Colonial's pipeline decision to pay the ransom had raised fresh questions about when it's appropriate to pay cyber criminals to recover encrypted data and when you should just leave the information available there. For years, the FBI has advised against ransomware victims not to pay the ransom because that might encourage more behavior. Plus, the decryptor keys that the gangs provide do not always work. Well, this was a pretty targeted attack, so this did work on the decryption keys. This was a targeted attack. On June 9th, the hearing of the members of Congress will quiz Colonial Pipeline CEO about the decision to pay the ransomware. The company's CEO says the decision to pay the ransomware was the right thing to do for the country. Mm-hmm. But rather than make this a problem and go away, Colonial's hasty decision set a danger in precedent to be putting a bigger target on the backlash of our infrastructure. Chris Pearson, the founder of the security company Black Cloak. So FireEye was asked about this, and I removed this whole section about FireEye doing their work. So I'm gonna quote this individual because this guy actually, FireEye was, I think, asleep on the job yet again. So what
were you saying about not talking about that on the air?
So Chris Pearson, the CEO and founder of the security company Black Cloak, notes that paying a ransom is much more than just a cybersecurity decision. Colonial and others in their situation are between a rock and a hard place, he said. The decision to pay or not pay is not a cybersecurity matter at all, but rather a business decision with input from legal, business lines, cybersecurity, and IT across the board. The factors that need to be weighed include the duties to the customers, shareholders, employees, because if they chose not to pay this, they could have even gone out of business. And it's the legal authorities in the country that operate, such as Congress, don't really have the right to make the decision on a private-based company.
Yeah, that's splitting hairs. We're talking about.
I agree with that.
A business decision versus a legal decision, right? Because the FBI says don't do it because it's going to encourage more of this behavior, and that's true. Right, but the business is looking at it from their own survival standpoint, right?
Yeah, you're not inoperable for 4 days, and you can pay a ransom, and you have insurance for that to cover that. And so now all of a sudden that will cover what's taken care of, and that one may be 2 or 3 days worth of wages lost versus having months and months of data being re-inputted. Mm-hmm. It comes down to be a business decision.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. It's a hard choice to make.
It is. All right. Well, you know what? We are going to. That ends our segment that we have there.
That's good. Let's move on.
Okay. Well, in our next segment, Technology Insider, we're going to be talking about ransomware.
Oh, crap.
So we're going to be fantastic. So when we come on back, we are going to be talking specifically about ransomware. We're going to be talking about a couple companies that have paid over, one company that paid over $40 million in ransomware, talking about hackers. And we're also going to be talking about some hackers that have retired. And why did they retire?
Duh.
Because they just got some big payouts.
That's what I would do.
And we're going to be talking about how you can protect your machine from here on out so that you do not have to worry about malware with a free software that is available on all Windows 10 machines.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you after the break.
Warning, this podcast is inappropriate, dumb, and should not be listened to. Oral discretion is advised. Fat Tango presents a monthly scripted comedy show. Each episode is a self-contained short story that showcases the sick, twisted senses of humor of its creators. Episodes range from podcast parodies to supernatural encounters and cartoonish ridiculousness.
I do this in the name of science!
Jeff, which kid took the gummy bears?
Can you name a famous trombone player?
How do you know my name? I'm Santa.
That was the best I've ever seen! Thanks, bro.
Every episode is a different story with different people, played by different actors. Sometimes.
I know I've told you this before, but I don't like you.
Is this because we want to get a dog?
Pow!
We got a dog!
Wham!
Let's get a dog!
Toledo! You're disrespecting painting, you Can you believe he said that?
No, man. Can't change my mind on this. I wish for a bigger
Boy, if I was listening to this on some other podcast that was running a trailer for it, I would sure go listen to it.
You know what? Split-second decision. All of it's real. Yes, I would murder Santa Claus.
Check us out wherever you listen to podcasts.
New episodes released first Monday of every month. Fat Tango is also launching its podcast network this month, so go check it out on their website at fattangoproductions.com and follow them on social media at Fat Tango Podcast on Twitter and at Fat Tango Productions on Instagram. Look forward to seeing you there. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, we got a new sponsor here, and they're called the Art of Manliness.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, have you heard of them?
I've heard of these folks. Yeah, I've been on their website several times.
You've been on their website?
Yeah, they talk about everything, man. You know, like how to wear a sports coat with jeans, or how to give yourself a buzz cut, or style tips for men.
Really? Well, guess what? I have not heard of them until now, and now I'm excited because you know what?
You're not a man.
Well, I am a man.
You're not a manly man.
All right, so this is really the show for manly men. Are you sick and tired of wading through 2 hours of fluff in order to get a few good takeaways? Have you listened to podcasts that make you just go, huh? Tune into the Art of Manliness podcast, where you can glean and distill the very best insights from the world's experts in self-improvement, philosophy, and practical skills, history, and a lot more. And do it all under an hour. Without all of the eye-rolling filler, you can walk away from every episode, Art of Manliness podcast, with actionable insights you can start implementing today to improve your life. You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your other podcast players.
All right, welcome back to TechTime Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. Mike Renee, we just got done.
You can't dump it. You're not allowed.
I can't dump what?
The
whiskey?
The glass.
The glass?
Hey, and for all you listeners out there who don't see what goes on during these commercial breaks, in the 7 months that we've been on, I've never seen both Mike and Nathan twitch so bad when trying whiskey. It's hilarious.
Thanks, David.
That's probably why they tell me to put the cover up for the video stream.
That's right.
Do you drive a bus?
He just hit us right.
Yeah.
He drives a bus. He just ran right over us.
He just came backwards. So he
didn't even bother with the one finger salute. He just drove the bus right over us.
I didn't need the sales salute on that one.
So the rule is we have to finish the glass.
We have to finish the glass.
Oh wow, this is the worst alcohol I have ever tasted.
You're telling.
So you know what? I don't know what I'm going to say at the end of the. This may be worse than Kentucky's Best.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's close.
It's close.
It's close. This is $45 a bottle. That's 40.
That does make it worse.
Because the other one was only like $29. So this is $44.99.
Return to sender.
$42.50.
All right.
More than what it should be.
That's right. Well, welcome back to TechTime Radio. If you like your whiskey, then you're not drinking any of the Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey right now.
We'll let you decide what you like.
That's right. Okay.
This is definitely just get drunk whiskey.
Is it? I don't know.
You would.
I don't know.
If your goal is to sip the whiskey and enjoy it, don't. If your goal is to plaster your brains all over the.
I don't know. It's only 90 proof, so I'd still get something else. All right. Well, let's move on to our next segment. Yes.
Maybe
so our next segment, we're going to be talking about ransomware. We're going to be talking about the difference between malware, viruses, and ransomware. There's all three different terms that are always mixed in together. So let's start that segment now.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, welcome to Technology Insider. Your host, Nathan Mumm, is going to talk about...
Really? Who's that?
Well, that's me.
Oh,
okay, we're going to talk about... We have Mike is our expert here to make sure that we keep everything down at the level that everybody can understand for this. So I'm not going to try to be...
if I'm going to do well after drinking all this whiskey.
No, I'm going to try to be acronym-free so I don't keep on going.
I'm not a cat.
I'm not going to be saying anything too crazy. So we're going to be talking about story number one, and we're talking specifically about ransomware hacks, okay? So it's really about a ransomware type of episode that we have here for the first hour.
This is kind of a theme.
It is. That was kind of designed that way. But one of the U.S. largest insurance companies reportedly paid $40 million in ransomware hackers. CNA Financial, one of the largest U.S. insurance companies based in Chicago, was founded in 1897. It's the seventh largest commercial insurer in the United States as of 2018. CNA provides property and casualty insurance products and services for business and professionals in the U.S., Canada, Europe, and Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Paid $40 million.
Yeah.
$40 million to free itself from a ransomware attack that occurred in March. We haven't heard about this. It was all under the covers.
Hush.
And now it's going to be, I guarantee you, we like to break news here that it will be trending in the upcoming weeks. I guarantee you, after it's been aired on TechTime Radio and a couple other places, this is going to get some big news. So, according to a recent report from Bloomberg, the hackers reportedly demanded $60 million when negotiations started, but weeks after the CNA systems were encrypted, they came to a compromise at $40 million.
I like this point that you've made.
What's that?
It was a negotiation.
It was a negotiation to begin with, right?
It began
60
at
to 40
million, and it went down to 40 million.
It went down to 40 million for the key. So talk
about a business.
That's
deal.
right. CNA's payout would rank as one of the highest ransomware payouts that we know about. Though there's not a lack of trying, because Apple and Acer had their data that was compromised in separate $50 million ransomware deals earlier this year.
Wow.
So did you hear anything about Apple and Acer earlier this year?
No.
Nope. So all this information is going to get on out. So which is going to lead into our next story that we have right after this. Okay. It also seems the hackers are looking. We
kind of need Buffalo Trace today, I think.
We're going to need some.
Yeah.
So this makes the Colonial pipeline at $4.4 million that's going in front of Congress. If I was him and the CEO of I'd be like, listen, you got companies at $40 million. Let me, I paid 4.4. Go find somebody else to fry. I have other things to do.
Yeah.
See you later. But okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The pipeline, the CEO can point to those guys.
Yeah. So I would. That's the first thing I do. Law enforcement agencies recommend against paying ransomware, saying the payouts will encourage hackers to keep higher prices for sums. In an update, CNA says that it believes its policyholders' data was unaffected during this compromise.
Hey, where have I heard that before? That sounds like deja vu.
That's right. That's the new thing. So that almost just guarantees you that data was compromised.
Yeah.
When you come out with that exact verbiage.
That's like saying you take the fifth on something.
That's right. That's like wink, wink. Oh, no customer data was taken care of. The ransomware that locked CNA systems was Phoenix Locker, a derivative of another piece of malware called Hades. Hades was originally Hades' code. So essentially they modified that in a new way to have it called Phoenix. Hades was allegedly created by a Russian group with the Mr. Robert-esque name Evil Corp. Have you ever watched that show, Mr. Robot?
Yes.
Yes. So of all the shows I've ever watched for technology, Mr. Robot has it about 95% right. When they do their technology stuff and they say this is how you break in and this is what you're doing and this is how you attack, that's actually legitimate stuff. Whereas you watch a CSI episode or some of these other movie episodes and I just am like crossing my eyes going, what are you talking about?
Well, yeah, they always have the awesome stuff going on.
So this happened in March and May. Now let's talk about what the new CNN report said, that the DarkSide ransomware group is retiring. So ransomware group DarkSide is retiring with over $90 million.
Wow.
The ransomware group
You think they're bragging about all that money they make?
Oh, I
would
be.
They're under the 100 million.
Yeah. So I guess they're under 100 million. That's just 90 million. With over 90 million in Bitcoin, all of a sudden disbanded its operation, according to researchers. The UK blockchain analyst firm discovered that DarkSide's digital wallet had been completely emptied. It was previously containing over 90 million in Bitcoin, and the group has been accruing through different ransomware attacks at approximately a $1.9 million ransom paid per victim attack that they've done. So they normally get 1.9 million ransomware per victim. In a total of over 90 million in Bitcoin, the ransomware payments made to DarkSide originated from 47 distinct different wallets. So they were so smart. So they had different wallets of cryptocurrency. And they would then all put that into one major wallet that would hold that. So if you decided to break into their major wallet, you would have to then still have the other 47 wallets available to break into.
So they had the smaller wallets and the bigger wallet.
Yep. So
if you're following it, this makes absolutely no sense to anybody that doesn't have a technology background.
Okay. Well, so let's say you have a bank account. So you have a bank account, right? Yeah. So in my bank account, instead of me having all the money in just my checking account, I would have 47 different checking accounts that were a part of my account that it has.
This is like your folder system on your PC.
That's exactly right. And so you'd have subfolders and other subfolders with the information. So if somebody came on in and tried to steal one,
each of those subfolders would have to be encrypted differently.
Yep.
And then the big subfolder that holds the big folder that holds those subfolders is encrypted. So if you broke into the big one, then you're like, oh no,
I didn't get everything. I only got a very little piece of
crap.
Here. I only got the other 40.
Now I have to.
Yeah, see, so you're keeping it down at the level. But that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so very simple process. DarkSide put up on their service, which they have ransomware as a service. They are no longer in business, and they will soon be retiring. Now, it's interesting that the developers reportedly paid 25% in ransom fees for any project that was $500,000 and less. And then they were paid 10% for anything that was greater than $5 million. So,
okay,
let's talk about a way to protect your PC right now. We talked, caller called on in. We got a couple minutes. We're going to go very quickly into this. If you have a PC and it's a Windows-based PC, this is a Nathan Nugget. This is going to be worth the whole episode right now. Okay. Go in right now into your Windows start bar or search bar and type in the words ransomware protection. Okay?
Should I do that right now?
You can do that. It makes no difference. Now, this is going to open up a menu that will essentially say that you have access to...
Hey, there it is. Ransomware protection right there.
Ransomware protection. Now, when you click on that, it's going to open up an area underneath there that says protect your files against threats like ransomware and see how to restore files in case of an attack. Controller folder access by default is set to off, so you need to turn it on.
Right.
When you turn it on, it will essentially protect your machine.
That was my question when we talked about this in the production meeting.
What's
Why
that?
is it automatically off? Why isn't it automatically on?
Well, Microsoft has agreements with other companies that sell ransomware.
Oh.
So by default, having it enabled without you knowing it to go in and take care of that could be a violation of other agreements that they have with companies that are third parties that write software for them. So you will need to click on the button, turn this on, and guess what? You will have the strongest ransomware protection available for absolutely free by turning that on your computer.
Hallelujah.
There you go. Very simple. Nathan Nugget.
Nathan,
ransomware protection. Turn it on. And be happy. Yep. All right, we got a commercial break. When we come on back, we got Mike's mesmerizing moment and our pick of the day.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you been looking for a new podcast to listen to lately?
Yeah, I'm always looking for something to listen to.
All right, I got one for you. It's called the Hypocritical AF Podcast. It's a weekly audio and video show hosted by Albert Figueroa.
Ah, that's where the AF comes from.
Yes, you were probably thinking of something else, didn't you?
I thought it was hypocritical.
No.
Tune in every week for random conversations, random rants, and a wide variety of interviews where the conversations range from hysterical to hypocritical.
The Hypocritical AF Podcast is unfiltered, on the edge, and 100% organically built from the ground up.
Okay, this sounds a lot more fun.
New episodes drop every Wednesday on all streaming platforms and on YouTube.
Yeah, where can I find that?
Oh, you can also find them online at www.hypocriticalaf.com, but mostly take a look at them on Instagram. You can find them at Hypocritical AF Podcast. Check out Hypocritical AF Podcast today.
Awesome.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you heard of work patterns?
You mean like how my virtual work pattern doesn't involve pants?
No, our listeners don't want to hear about those work patterns. Work Patterns is a people management app I signed up for recently, and my team is loving it. Everyone who manages people knows that being a great manager has never been hard. Work Patterns arms managers with tools they need to be effective leaders, no matter where people are physically located.
Nice. Will it help me actually feel prepared for the tons of one-on-one and team meetings I have every week?
Yep. Work Patterns is designed to make team management easier, enabling continuous one-on-one feedback, collaborative meetings, goal tracking, and workflow management all in one place. My team has also been publicly sharing wins in apps like Slack and Team using Work Patterns' Kudos feature. Celebrating wins of all sizes has been great for morale. Honestly, whether you're a manager struggling to stay on top of things or a CEO whose organization has outgrown its system, Work Patterns will help reduce the chaos of your workday.
Hey, that's great. Time is valuable, and I want to make sure my team is having productive meetings.
Exactly, Mike. You should sign up. They're offering a free trial.
Wow. I'm going to sign up right now. Where do I go to do that?
It's at workpatterns.com. Check out workpatterns.com using the link in our show notes and get the people management app loved by thousands of highly performing teams. This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
You know, this is interesting. We've been talking about this stuff all day about ransomware. So the interesting piece is that, well, this is nothing new.
What do you mean by that?
Human beings have always been trying to find ways of making money by doing the same things. Except, you know, like in Mexico City, it's all about nabbing somebody's child and grabbing ransom, you know. It's just now we're doing it with somebody's information.
It's interesting because we store more and more information on computers now, so it gets more and more valuable at that time, right?
Yeah, the more technologically advanced it get, the more cybercrime we're going to see, and it's all based around the same stuff. It's based around human behavior.
And what I don't understand is we never learn either, right? We just fall for the same tricks with the
we fall for the same stuff over and over again. We rarely learn new things. Human beings haven't changed much in 200,000 years.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I believe that. All right, well, now we have our pick of the day here. Mike?
I'm not picking today.
Buffalo Trace? I think it's a thumbs down here.
Yeah, this is a thumbs down.
Yeah, very simple thumbs down. Thank goodness our second hour.
Like the can rather than canned fruit.
That's right. Our second hour, we have our leftover from last week that we will be pouring back in there. So we are excited for you to join us on our second hour. We got a great guest that will be coming on up. We got our letter segment. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got David Brown behind the board. Mike Gorday.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.